friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today are some found footage films that I think you'll enjoy. And admittedly, found footage it's one of those tougher subgenres, and I don't always connect with them. So I'm hoping that because I enjoyed these, that you'll find a few that you will enjoy as well. And if you have any recommendations for found footage films, definitely put them down in the comments, because I'm curious about ones that you guys enjoy that maybe I haven't heard of or seen yet. And this first one I did talk about in the last video, the haul video, but for anyone who hasn't seen that, this is the newest one, newest offering from Second Sight, and it's called the Borderlands. And I thought this was really good. It very much exceeded my expectations, and it wasn't plagued by the things that normally put me off with found footage, like the shaky cam and, you know, the running and dropping the camera and things going all over the place and not being able to focus on the screen, those type of things. This was pretty stable for the most part. Towards the end, you get a little bit of shaky cam, but it's worth it. The payoff is great. Basic premise of this is that we have a church. There have been some strange things happening at the church. They caught it on video. They send it to these priests who they asked to come out and investigate and see what's going on. And that's about all I can say, but it's really good. It's very suspenseful. It's a little slow in the beginning, as a lot of them are, but I thought it was really well done. And I know a lot of people have been surprised at how much they really enjoyed this one. So definitely check it out. I know this version, the limited edition, is still available, I believe, on Diabolic and on Orbit. If you're not up for the whole, it comes with a book and some art cards, but if you don't feel like you need the whole thing, you can always get the standard edition, which still gives you all the special features and whatnot. It's the same thing. The movie's the movie. That's what we're really here for. But, you know, the limited edition packaging is always nice, but, you know, just get the movie. Now, I just want to warn you, if you look on Amazon, I don't know if this is available in any Blu-ray format, and this is region free, by the way. If you look on Amazon, you're going to see this movie come up. If you put in Borderland, you're going to see that one. This is not the same movie. This movie is from 2008. This one is from 2013. So just be mindful of that if you try to search it out and see if there's another, I don't know if there's a DVD or a Blu-ray for this at all. I think this might be the newest release. I know it's the newest release, but I don't know if there was ever a Blu-ray is what I'm saying. So that is the Borderlands. Now, my second one, I've talked about this one before, and I really, really like this one. It really freaked me out once it got going, and this one is in Korean with English subtitles. It is coming out on Second Sight, I believe over the summer, but if you don't feel like you need that, this Blu-ray is just fine. I mean, do we really need 4K for found footage? I'm not sure if it's a 4K release, but I don't really think 4K is necessary for found footage. This is called Ganam Haunted Asylum, and what it is we have a group of young people going out, and they are going to, of course, inspect this abandoned hospital asylum, and there have been rumors of different things that have taken place there, and the more involved they get with their investigations, the more freaky it gets. This is a freaky, freaky film, and I love any kind of Asian horror and found footage and stuff like that, because they are not afraid to go there. They are not afraid to scare the bejesus out of you. So if you're up for the subtitles, like I said, Korean with English subtitles, I highly recommend this one. And here's the name. That's the name of the movie, but I would highly recommend this one. It definitely surprised me, and it was way better than I expected it to be. So this one is one I would definitely put on my list. Now, this is one, I think this one is criminally underrated. It's so much fun. This is more on the lighter side, and it's fun. And it's a Norwegian one called Troll Hunter. And this was a recommendation to me a few years ago from Amy over at Amy's Autopsy Report. And she did not steer me wrong. This was so much fun. Like I said, this is a Norwegian film. It's both in Norwegian and English with some subtitles. But basically what we have is a crew going out because they want to investigate alleged bear attacks that have been taking place. And so they go out and they find out that it's not bears that have been attacking people, but it's these giant trolls. And from what I've read, the people from the Norwegian people definitely connect with this film more than, say, like Americans and whatnot, because a lot of it is based on Norwegian folklore and where it takes place and the lead character, things like that. A lot of it is wrapped up in Norwegian folklore, but I still enjoyed this. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. It was funny. It was on the lighter side, and I thought it was really well done. And even though I didn't know anything about the folklore until I read about it afterwards, I still enjoyed this. I think it is so underrated. I think it deserves so much more attention, and it is one of the better found footage films. And talk about cinematography. There are shots in this when they're driving in the car, when you see just the landscape and the whole area that they're in. It is absolutely stunning. It is a beautifully shot movie. I mean, they do get into the woods at night and things like that, and it gets a little shaky, but when they're just driving in the car, it is absolutely stunning. It's a gorgeous film. So definitely put Troll Hunter on your list. Look it up, check it out, and see if it's something you'd be interested in, because like I said, this was a recommendation to me, and I was not disappointed, and I really do think more people need to check this one out. Just give it a chance. It's a lot of fun, and Troll Hunter is my next pick. Now, this one, I know a lot of people have talked about this. I don't know how readily this one is available. I know this limited edition is sold out, but I know Orbit gets things in quite often, and even if they're just getting the standard release, it is well worth it. This one is called Lake Mungo. And basically what happens is there's a family and they're at this lake, they're swimming, the daughter drowns. It's in the very beginning of the movie. And after she drowns, all these weird things start to happen. They think they're seeing her in the house. They think they're seeing her in pictures and videos and her images all over the place. And they can't explain it. And what happens is this turns into kind of like a mockumentary where they're interviewing people. And it's really well done. It's very interesting, and you don't have the shaky cam issues that, like I said, they plague found footage films on the regular. That is one of the biggest complaints I personally have, is the shaky cam. You don't have that with this, and I love things that are done in like a mockumentary style, and I think the story is really interesting, and this is one that definitely stayed with me. There's a good story that comes out of this. It takes time to get there, but just be patient with it. But I think Lake Mungo is really, really good, very haunting, very creepy, and it's one that's definitely going to stay with you. But like I said, I don't know if they have this limited edition still available, but I'm sure they're still getting copies in of this standard edition, which is, like I said, it still has all the same stuff on it. And this one is, I think this might be a 4K. No, this one is just a Blu-ray, but I believe it's region... Oh, no, this one's region-free. This one is region-free. So if you can get your hands on the standard edition, go for it. I say Lake Mungo is well worth it. Now, another one. This one is so good, and I know it's very popular. This is the box set from Scream Factory. Now I guess it's called Shout Studios. I think I have that right. This is the Wreck collection, and the ones I'm going to be talking about are the first two because they're the ones that I have watched. I know the third one has to do with a wedding, and then the fourth one apparently goes back to what happened in the first two. So let's just focus on these first two. This first one, this is wild. Now these are in the first two, these are in Spanish with English subtitles. This is a wild, wild film. We have a gal who's a reporter. She's going with her cameraman, and they're going to follow these firefighters through a shift. And she keeps saying, oh, I hope something happens. I hope something happens. And lo and behold, they get a call for distress, a person in need of help in a building. They get to the building, and they are then locked in the building, and they cannot get out of the building because the local authorities have decided that there's something going on in that building that they were unaware of, and there's a reason that they keep them locked in the building. And I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to ruin it. This is really good, and let me tell you, the last like half hour of this is so crazy, so wild, so freaky. It'll grab your attention. It's really, really good. Now, there is some shaky cam in this. There are times when it's very clear, it's very calm, but there are some shaky cam moments. But let me tell you, it is well worth it. This will freak you out. And then the second one, this one, I have to revisit this one. I have seen it. I do like it. I like the first one more, but I have seen the second one. The second one takes place allegedly it starts 15 minutes after the original one stops. So they're kind of back to back. But I would highly recommend the Rec films if you can. I'm sure you can get your hands on them if you want to. I know this box set's still around, and if you want to just try and get the first two, I'm sure you can do that. Now, I haven't seen 3 or 4, but I did read up on them, so I do know what they're about, but I'm looking forward to checking them out as well. But the Rec films, highly recommend them. They are really good, and like I said, this first one will freak you out. It's crazy. There's some crazy things going on. Now this one, this surprised me. This film was done, I'm trying to look, okay, this film is a total of 65 minutes. It's called Host. And I've talked about this before. This was done during the pandemic. So they're basically working with nothing. And what it is it's a group of friends. I believe there's 6 of them. And they're on a Zoom call. And what they want to do is they are bored because they're on lockdown. They want to do a seance. So they want to do a Zoom seance, and they have a medium come in, and she's logged into the cameras with them, and she gives them the rules of the seance. She asks if anyone has any questions, if they've ever done it before. And at some point in the very beginning, the medium loses her connection. So she's out, and the group of friends, the girls, are left on their own. Someone breaks one of the rules, and then when the medium comes back, she's like, this is not good. And that's all I'm going to say. And all I can tell you with this one is this surprised me. This scared the life out of me. And I don't get scared. Things don't really scare me unless they're things like home invasions and things like that can really happen. This film was so good. It was just so effectively done. I don't know what they did or how they did it. It's in the editing or whatnot. This really, really got under my skin. And not just once, not just twice, but all 3 times I've watched it. It freaked me out. The first time I thought, you know, how scary could it be? This is going to be stupid. It's 65 minutes long, but I'm going to give it a try because I had heard good things. This will freak you out. They did such a great job with what they were working with, and it's so effective, so haunting, so freaky, so creepy. I can't recommend this one enough. My only regret with this one is that Second Sight did put out a nice limited edition of it, and I passed on it because I hadn't seen it yet, and I figured, you know what, it's going to be a waste. I wish I had picked it up because this is so, so good. So if you haven't seen Host, definitely give it a chance. And this one is really good. This one is it takes place in Paris, but it is in English. It's called As Above, So Below. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this one. And this one takes place in the catacombs underneath the streets of Paris. And we have a gal who she's trying to follow a notebook that was left by her father, and I guess he called himself an alchemist, and he was looking for certain things, and he left behind his notebook and his notes and everything that he knew, and she is determined to finish his work and find these artifacts, and she's trying to solve this puzzle that no one has been able to solve. And she and her friends decide that what they need to do is they need to go underneath in these catacombs in Paris because that's where she believes the map is telling her to go. All I can say is this is freaky. Now, in the beginning, of course, like a lot of them, the setup is a little bit slow. They have to find a tour guide. They have to find someone who knows because they're not from Paris. They need to find someone to take them down there. And the guy's like, I'm not going down there. I don't want to go where you're going. No, people go down there and they don't come back in this one area that she wants to go to. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going. So they go down there, and all I can say is this is so claustrophobic. It's so, you just feel what they're going through. You can feel every bit of anxiety that these people are having as they're crawling through these little tunnels and these catacombs and these dark alleyways and things like that. This is freaky. And again, this is another one that like the last half hour is nuts. But there's a big reveal at the end. There's a big end to the story, and it's a great payoff. So I think this one's really good. And what I can tell you about this one is there's a very interesting special feature on this. It's only about 5 minutes long. And they talk to the directors who shot the film, and they talk about how they actually did shoot it down in the catacombs in Paris underneath the streets. That freaked me out even more because I couldn't believe that it wasn't a set. They were actually in these little tiny confined spaces that were naturally occurring down there or had been built down there underneath the roads. But unbelievable. And I would love to see this get a nice special edition with a lot of extra features now that I know a little bit more about the making of the film. But if you haven't seen As Above, So Below, definitely check it out. Look at the back. It's going to freak you out. It's really, really good. I was not disappointed in this one, and I've seen it numerous times. And one thing I do want to address before I finish up here, I have I have 3 more films. I do have the Paranormal Activity, the big box set, and I know that's very popular with a lot of people. I have other plans for that. I'm going to do something probably around October. I have some plans for that. So I'm not forgetting it. I didn't omit it. I do like the films, and I'm going to do something different with it. Now this one I talked about in the haul as well, and I have both copies of it. And the first one, this is the Umbrella release. It's called The Tunnel, and this is an Australian film. And basically what we have is there are tunnels underneath the train station in Australia. It takes place in Australia, and the local government wants to access these tunnels because they want to do something with the water, because there are issues with the water, and they need to get down there because they feel like it can help them with the water problem that they're having. Problem is, there are rumors that have gone around that people go down there, especially the homeless people, when the weather gets bad, they can't lay on the streets, and when the weather gets bad, they go down to seek safety and shelter in these tunnels, and they're never heard from again. So this news crew goes down there because they want to find out what's going on, and they want to find out if it's safe for people, you know, to be down there and getting water down there with all these rumors going on. All I can tell you is once they get down there, all hell breaks loose, and that's all I'm going to say. This one I didn't really connect with on the first watch, but once I watched it again, I really, really liked it. And enough that I picked up the Vinegar Syndrome partner label that became available. So I have not checked this out yet, but I'm looking forward to it because I want to check out all the special features and whatnot. It is loaded with special features. So you can either get the regular Umbrella release, the standard release, which is just fine. And I've told you before, but I'm going to say it again. Anything from Imprint or Umbrella, even if it says Region B, they are region free. It will play on anything. And if not, you can always go over to the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels and you can grab this version of it. It is also available on, I believe, Diabolic, and I know it's available on Orbit. So definitely check out The Tunnel. It's a good one and it will freak you out. Now this one was, I have this one and one more. Now this one was one that was a recommendation from a bunch of you in the comments section. I want to say it was 2 Octobers ago, and I was not disappointed. It's called The Houses October Built. I watch this every October now. It's on my watch list, permanently on my watch list. Very basic premise. We have a group of friends that are going out, and what they are looking for is they are trying to find the most extreme haunts that come up. And these are haunts that come up, and they come up just during the month of October. And I've been to these haunts before, not the extreme ones, but they are freaky. And they are looking for the most extreme haunts, like some that you have to know people to get in, to give you a pass to go to them, and it's really freaky. And they're filming it, and what they do is they anger the wrong people, and then they are being terrorized by the people from these haunts. That's all I'm going to say, but this is a wild ride. It is so good. This did not disappoint. This is one of my favorite found footage films. Now there is a part 2. I didn't really like part 2. It could have just stopped with this one and I would have been fine with it, but this is really, really good. And if you like that type of thing, like the Halloween vibe, the haunts, haunted houses, things like that, you're going to love The Houses October Built. Now, this one, this doesn't have too, but it's not, the shaky cam isn't too bad. It's really not too bad because they're in an RV. A lot of it takes place in an RV, and they're talking and they're filming, and then they go out and they look at these haunts. But it's pretty stable as far as picture quality, but really, really good and really freaky. It will freak you out. So that's a good one. And this is the last one. I have talked about this one before, but I'm going to bring it up again because I think it's good and it's a little different. People are like this with it. Some love it, some hate it, but I mean, that's found footage anyway. This is one that I really like. It's called The Taking of Deborah Logan. And what we have is we have a gal who invites I believe it's a PhD student to come in and film her mother, who she's caring for, who she says has Alzheimer's. And They're going to film her day to day, how she cares for her, what goes on with her, and very quickly we find out that there is something way more sinister going on with the mother, and that's all I'm going to say. But this freaked me out, especially the end shot. And as I say, it makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, but I just think this one's a winner. And if you haven't seen it, take a chance on it. I've seen it over on Hamilton Book for not very much money, so I think you can pick it up relatively cheap. But I mean, I know some people really didn't take to this one, but I thought it was really good. And my friend Jay over at Absolute Sublime 1, who is a huge horror fan, he really liked this one too. It's just a matter of, what you like, what you don't. But I think this is a winner, and I think it's worth checking it out. So it's The Taking of Deborah Logan. So those are 10 found footage films that I really connected with. And like I said, it's a subgenre that I don't normally connect with. It takes a lot to get me to really enjoy it. And I can't do the shaky cam, and that's usually my problem with them. Usually it's a shaky cam, and sometimes the acting isn't always on par, but I think these are pretty solid picks, really solid picks. So hopefully you'll find a few, or even one that you haven't seen yet, and you'll check it out. But like I said, if you have any recommendations, please leave them down in the comments. That's going to do it for me today, so I want to thank you for watching. You know I appreciate each and every one of you who take time to check out these videos. Whatever you do, if you watch for 5 minutes or if you watch for the whole thing, leave comments, whatever, like, subscribe. Anything you do, I appreciate. And if you like videos like this, recommendations, haul videos, collection overviews, anything that has to do with physical media, please consider subscribing, hit the bell notification so you know when I upload again. And like I told you, my upload schedule is going to be back on track. Just had a few things that were going on, but we're back on track, and I am going to do some collection updates because that's been requested. And I also have some other genres. I know I've been doing some horror, a lot of horror, but I felt like my horror friends were being really kind of pushed to the side for a bit, so I wanted to give some horror content and catch up with that. But I do have some other things planned, so we're going to get to that probably later in the week. And that's going to do it for me. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. So for now, that's a wrap.